the vision of the director is getting executed through the camera, and whatever is being executed by the camera is being planned by the DOP. All the films that I have been doing, my perspective always remains that whether I am able to give my 100% and I am being able to contribute towards a film with my heart full. I feel every cinematographer's imagination will be different when it comes to, with one particular script, 10 different DOPs, 10 different cinematographers will come up with 10 different sensibilities, with their sensibilities, 10 different kind of visuals. So it is always a thing which is psychologically driven. Your upbringing, your understanding of life, your way of looking something, we all are unique. So from that perspective, it will be a unique vision when it comes to different cinematographers on a single giving their take on a single script. Nowadays we have stopped studying. We are watching a lot of things, we are hearing a lot of things, we are scrolling a lot of things, we are making a lot of things, but when it comes to studying a lot of books, a child who reads is a child who thinks. I think it's a loving heart which you need to embrace your entire life. So shooting black and white in India is also another challenge because we don't have black and white cameras in India.
So there's a different camera for that.
Who's on air?
Namaskaram. We have Supratim Bhol with us, a well-renowned cinematographer. So here, let me ask him the question. Who is Supratim?
Supratim, I guess, is a person who wants to be, a better person every day. That's all I have in mind, and that's all I feel it on a daily basis.
So is the...
Be it on any job role, be it on any perspective of life.
So it's like a growth period, like Supratim started somewhere, from a little boy to now, the kind of area you are in, there's a story to it, right? A little bit of a story here. What made you Supratim Bhol?
So, I was born and brought up in Calcutta. Both my parents are teachers, and though the extreme family background for that matter, we all come from a farming background, ancestral wise. But as I grew up, I never planned to be in the profession I am in today. It was never a planned one. It happened very organically. It happened with time. It happened through the years, and I think it is still happening. It's not something that it is already achieved or something. I am a person who learns every day. So there was a time when my parents, obviously being a middle class Bengali family, you never expect a person to get into films.
Mm-hmm.
Being born in a Bengali family, if you are a boy, you need to be an engineer, and if you are a girl, you need to be a doctor. That's the basic strategy.
Okay.
So, and probably I am the only black sheep in my family. All the brothers, they are all from different backgrounds, from economics and mathematics, and from that perspective. But after graduation, or probably from the time of graduation, when I happened to, it was again, it's not planned, everything is very organic way, say he hua hai, that is, I started watching a lot of films with my friends from the time I hit my graduation.
Okay.
I was doing my graduation. So there, that point of time, very close to my college was this famous theatre, which is Nandan in Calcutta.
Okay.
And I still remember buying tickets for only 5 rupees for the front stall. And Nandan used to screen all the beautiful films of the world. Like world films for that matter. Even, of course, Indian films are there. But it used to portray a lot of good films, which gives you good taste, which develops good taste. So from that perspective, maybe it has started, the seed has started growing from there. Then it happened that I used to go for trekking in those days, and from the second trekking onwards, probably the photography part has started seeding in me.
Okay.
Then slowly, job-wise, if I say, I started my career as an assistant director for a television channel.
Okay.
And there I realized that my interest or my subject is not growing up to be a director, but it is in the camera.
Okay.
Because cinematography as a subject, if you see, if you just deeply get into the thought of what actually is cinematography for a DOP, I feel cinematography is a subject which gets nurtured in you from the books that I have read,
Okay.
from the poems that I have recited, from the songs that I have been listening since my childhood, the fables and the stories that you get to hear from your grandparents, the locations that you get to, wander around. I mean, because I'm an avid traveler. I have almost traveled for like 23 states in India. Mein ho gaya mera abhi tak.
So this is the experience which adds to what you do also, right?
Yes, I feel it is a summation of all these things which happens ultimately in the frames that you are coming up with.
Okay.
All those gets contributed.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is not just about a lens, or it is not just about the camera. It is about the person, how you bring yourself into the act of cinematography.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, that's how, and it kept on moving. In Calcutta, till 26 years of my life, I've never seen the world outside Calcutta.
Acha.
Yeah.
Suppose that you did the rest of the travel.
Yes, the post that I have, so I got through my film school on my 4th attempt. 4 years I waited to get through my film school.
So is it tough to do that? I mean, why is it so?
Exam wise, probably it is, obviously it is a competitive exam and it is tough. But at the same time, number of seats are pretty less in Pune Film Institute, and now that we have SRFTI, which is in Calcutta. So number of seat wise, I had to wait. That's my luck. I cannot ignore that. I cannot lie behind that. Obviously I had to wait for 4 years, and then I finally got into it. And after I passed out, I realized that it is not of course, film school gives you a direction. Film school streamlines your thoughts. You get very good mentors to get training under, because they really, I am very fortunate to get the people that I have been mentored by. But I realized after passing out from the film school, outside the walls of the safe zone, that is actually the bigger institute, which is the industry. Because there you don't have any kind of a person who is mentoring you. Your calls, your decisions, your convictions matters the most at that point of time, when a director who is putting in his dream project, like when my first film was released, Punchlate, that premiere itself, actor Yashpal Sharma, he was thinking of making his dream film, which is Dada Lakshmi, the National Award winner. He had told me that on that day of premiere that, Supratim, if I am making my debut film, to hi shoot karega isko. Okay. And 2 years down the line, I was the first person who came on board, and we shot the film, and it got the National Award.
Wow.
So the film is on performing artists, and he's known as the Shakespeare of Haryana.
Acha.
Pandit Lakshmi Chand. उनके ऊपर फिल्म है, उसका बायोपिक है. So we have shot the part 1, and it turned out to be a magic, or it turned out to be a film which people are getting loved. People are loving it from that perspective. So what I was saying is, cinematography is something which we all have, director is putting in his, entrusting his entire confidence, his convictions, his visualizations on the DOP to bring it out on screen. So the moment you are left alone and you are left on the people to take vital calls for a film to happen, that is the I feel a place where you are actually growing,
Okay.
because you are taking independent calls to make a film happen.
Hmm.
Conviction, it's more than the art, more than the, I mean, obviously art has to be there, craft has to be there, aesthetics has to be there. These things are by default.
Hmm.
But more than that, to have the conviction on your visual is something very important.
Hmm.
And that needs to be conveyed.
And how did you learn this? Like, it's as you said, you traveled 23 states.
Till now,
So
yeah.
these are all kind of, you assimilate all these things, and that kind of gives you a vision,
Correct.
and it helps you in the way you perform as a DOP. So what are
Right.
the role? What is the role of the camera team at the film set? I mean, what are the various roles you have to get into when you do shooting for a film?
So initially, when we sit to discuss a film, we obviously the director narrates the entire film
Okay.
or gives a script to read. But I always prefer to have a narration first,
Okay.
because when I get to hear the
You
story,
visualize?
I get to visualize my own things, and I discuss that with the director, how it can be executed or how it can be managed in the kind of locales that we have, in the kind of budget that we have. That is another big challenge all the time.
Okay.
So from that perspective, it's a director who is always, I mean, after getting the narration from the director, it is the most important part is the two people coming on the same page,
Okay.
because the director, the vision of the director is getting executed through the camera, and whatever is being executed by the camera is being planned by the DOP.
Right.
So it's the sensibility of the DOP, his thought process is what is giving the director the trust. So once that discussion happens for a substantial amount of time, then comes the location Reiki. Once you start
Do you have a say
finding
on
the
that?
location.
Do you have a say in that when you're looking at the location?
Yes, of course. I mean, it's a both. It's always a team process, I feel. When the director also has his kind of locales that he wants to make it happen. Now, from the cinematographer's perspective, it is not just the aesthetic part, because there is a lot of other things which is also behind. We need certain amount of working space, certain amount of lighting space.
Right.
So all those things needs to be kept in mind to make a scene happen at one particular location.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, I always feel that it's a team game, and it is always, I mean, whatever happens, it happens with the discussion, I mean, along with the discussion with the director.
Okay.
So once the location Reiki happens, then the tech Reiki happens, where the technical team goes and the other unit members also goes and visits the location, and then finally go for shoot.
Okay. So your team consists of how many people?
So it depends from project to project. If it is nowadays we have started shooting a lot of films with second camera, third camera, three cameras are being used in one particular
Earlier
film.
it was not so.
Earlier it used to be very difficult in that way. So it depends on the magnitude of the project that what is going to be the team size.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not just with me. I feel that is with like all other departments.
So when you use three cameras, it kind of fastens you have much more speed in when you do the
Speed
shoot.
as in, yes, you get various angles to shoot at the same time.
Yeah.
Though I feel at times it is little compromising for the shots to get executed. But yeah, once you have a deadline and once you have a stipulated date and time and money, so that becomes an added advantage.
So you are always in charge of one camera, or you need to be on one camera at all time, or when you have three cameras? Is that so?
Again, it depends. If I am operating one of the cameras, then there has to be two other operators for the other two cameras. But yeah, I mean, all three cameras are getting operated under the kind of visuals that I want to achieve.
Okay. So the framing and all is always set by you.
Yes,
Where are the angles and all that?
correct.
So tell me one thing, is there any formal education which is required to do what you're doing?
Formal education, as in, yeah, of course. I mean, if somebody decides, or if somebody has that bandwidth, or somebody has that window in life where he can have, where that person can spend, 2-3 years of his life or 4 years of his life, depending on the film school's courses. That I go to a film school and spend few days there, spend some substantial amount of time there, reading, watching, and learning things. And it's a film school is always a space for self-development. It's a place for self-growth. So once you feel that is required for you, it's an individual call whether I want to do that, or else the other thing is you start learning from day one and you start working, assisting someone, and then you move on in life. So it's both ways it works. It's a matter of choice. My choice was obviously I will go to a film school. I always work as per my deadlines, and I always work as per my targets. If I have set a target for myself, if I have a goal for myself, I try to fulfill that in certain amount of time in my life.
Yeah.
If it happens, good. If it doesn't, I move on.
Yeah. With the new age camera, there's a lot of technical aspects to it also, that you have to keep upgrading yourself also, isn't it?
Yes. That is a very essential part. I mean, upgrading myself with the latest cameras, lenses, lights, because lights also nowadays we have mostly LED lights, which are much cooler than the previous light bodies. So from that perspective, obviously keeping oneself updated, it's a process basically. It is not just one aspect. Because the format is changing, so I'll have to keep myself updated. No, I see it the other way around. It is always a part of the process of learning. If something new is coming, obviously my passion says that I need to know it. Whether I use it, whether I get an opportunity to use that is something different. But once you get into one particular subject, then obviously that aspect allures you. Like you tend to learn that new thing which is there in the market.
You've done 2 films which are based on the legendary Satyajit Ray, sir.
Yeah.
So, how has it influenced you? One, his work. Secondly, why is that nowadays cinemas are not made in that way? What Satyajit Ray had a vision, the way he worked, the finesse is missing sometimes, we feel, as a movie goer, we feel the finesse is missing from the way he did that. So those 2 films which you made, which is an extension of his work, what should be done for that? Do you think the new age filmmaking should change?
So coming to the first question, that the 2 films came to me, I'm very lucky to be part of both the films. One film is a sequel to the famous Apu trilogy by Satyajit Ray. It's the concluding part of the novel, from where the second and the third film of Apu trilogy is made. The novel's name is Aparajito, and from where Satyajit Ray had made his second film, Aparajito. It's written by the famous novelist Vibhutibhushan Bandyopadhyay. We have shot the concluding part of that novel.
Okay.
That is my first approach towards black and white. And the second film that I made on Satyajit Ray, that is on the life of Satyajit Ray itself, where he has moved on from his advertising career to his filmmaking career. It is that where his first film, Pothir Pachali, gets the world recognition.
Right.
It is that span of his life.
Okay.
How he could manage the money, how he came across the story of Pothir Pachali. It is written by the same writer, Vibhutibhushan Bandyopadhyay. From a small story, he developed it into a feature film length. So, no, sorry, it's not a small story as such, but yeah, it's a small book from where the film has got developed. But the point is, both the films has come to me. I am extremely lucky that it has come to me, and So the impact, the question was about the impact that you want to talk now. That I feel happened to me because of the fact that the impact is not that I have taken too much of pressure to shoot them. To be very honest, because first of all, if I would have been under such kind of stress, then probably I wouldn't have given my independent involvement in terms of cinematography. I always saw them as an individual film which has come to me and what the script demands.
Okay.
So I did not want to copy what they have done to do. They are masters in their work. I mean, they as in Mr. Supratim Bhol, who has shot the trilogy, he is one of the father figures of Indian cinematography. But because I have grown up watching a lot of Indian black and white films, because in those days it used to be only Doordarshan.
Right.
No other channels used to be there. And Doordarshan used to always, on Saturdays, Sundays, sometimes in the weekdays also, they always used to, and especially during our summer vacations, there used to be a lot of Bengali films which are in black and white used to get screened.
Right.
And even in theatre later on, I have watched a lot of black and white films. So, obviously I have done photography myself. I started off with painting, then I moved on to photography, and then I have done cinematography. So black and white was something which is very attractive, very alluring for any kind of cinematographer, for any cinematographer. कि life में एक black and white तो होना चाहिए.
Do you get a chance, most of these guys, because this not need of that?
It depends whether you want to make it. Like I recently saw, a few days back, there is a web series called Kota Factory. That is shot in black and white. They have done it in black and white. And there are a few films also which are recently shot in black and white. But Abhijatrik, the one that is shot in 2019, and the second film, which is again the film is named Aparajito, that is that I have shot in 2021.
Okay.
Now, both the films' impact only had come to me through my watching of Indian films, to be very honest.
Okay.
And I did not take any extra pressure. I treated the films just the way it is there in the script. I did not take any extra added pressure. Now, coming to your second question, whether the finesse is missing in nowadays filmmaking or not.
The way Satyajit Ray is to envision it.
Right. So the Ray, during Satyajit Ray is of course a very well celebrated director in India, and he has done marvelous films. He has directed marvelous films which we all have watched. At the same time, there have been a lot of other directors also who have delivered brilliant films.
Okay.
And filmmaking, the challenge which was there, it's not that they have done certain films and that was very difficult, and now films are being made. It is also it has become very easy, or it has become very the finesse is missing, or it is not of that stature. I feel struggle tabhi bhi tha. Then also there was struggle. There also they had problems of executing a film. Execution ka problem, execution ka struggle, and problem facing of the regular problems that I am talking about filmmaking. वो तभी भी था, अभी भी है. The difference is that point of time only cinema used to be there. Now we have a lot of other formats of filmmaking, right? So web series has come in. The market has grown so much. There are so much of digital ads getting shot. So much of music videos happening. There is so much of television being shot, television serials. But it's not. This is my personal feeling. It's not that the finesse is missing nowadays. Nowadays, also great films are being made. But whether you are able to relate to those works or not, it is something which is my personal opinion. It is something very relative. Whether you are loving to watch a Satyajit Ray film or a Ritik Ghatak film or a Tapan Sinha film, or you are loving to watch a Bimal Roy film, or you are watching, now you want to watch a today's generation director's film. In comparison, I feel it is a matter of choice whether you are loving this film or not, whether this film is giving you any extra, in terms of your mental satisfaction once you watch an art form. Whether that film is getting, mentally it is touching you or not. And if a Satyajit Ray's film is touching you or not, these two are completely very relative things.
Okay.
It will matter from person to person. But obviously, Satyajit Ray is a very big filmmaker and he has been versatile throughout his life. The kind of film that he has made, he has touched all the sections of film, all the genres of film. Whether it is drama, whether it is comedy, social satire, horror, tragedy, he has done all kinds of films, mystery. So, versatility is one factor which makes Satyajit Ray a great filmmaker. Obviously, that is, by default. But at the same time, I feel the films that are being made in today's world, obviously they also have that kind of aesthetic, they kind of have that kind of storytelling. I'm not saying all, but yeah, there are. Which you also have seen, which I also have seen, and we have enjoyed.
I highly appreciate your answer because you put it in a very, very right perspective.
Yeah.
You have been instrumental in shooting the world's longest black and white film, which is it is probably the world's only black and white
one shot.
In one shot you shot that. Nomad is the film.
Yeah.
What went on to make this film? What is the process which you went through in doing this?
So to be very honest, when the director had called me, I felt somebody is joking. I did not trust him because it needs a lot of discipline. It needs a lot of time consuming and time involving thing to make a feature film happen in one shot. You need to have very meticulous plans of making a feature happen. So when I met him later on after 2-3 months and I went to his house, I kind of really started respecting him for the fact that the guy who has written the script for almost 2-3 years and he has made a miniature of the set of Film City, the 2-3 kilometer radius on his dining table, and he has designed what kind of character movements and vehicle movements and the possible camera movements are possible. But he wanted to, because this kind of filmmaking needs this kind of involvement. You cannot, until unless you pre-plan the entire thing, you cannot plan it on set. So, first of all, his dedication really attracted me. His kind of, in Bengali there is a word called Odhavashai. This kind of dedication, which really is infectious. So then I heard the script and we thought of that there has to be a rehearsal period with the characters and the director and me checking on their movements. So this film has been shot inside Film City in a radius of 2 to 3 kilometers and roughly 2 kilometers in a radius in an area. And there was a rehearsal for 6 months with the artists. How meticulously,
like a theater show.
Yes, it's kind of theater show which was getting developed, and we were all heading towards the shoot date. So after 6 months of rehearsals, when the shoot date came, because we did not have a lot of budget, we did not have that luxury of taking up the location for a lot of days to shoot the film. There were 3 days allotted for the camera movement with actual camera and the artists in real location.
Okay.
So on the first day, we got a hang of the kind of the camera movement which is going to. When the rehearsal was going on, I could figure out what the camera movements, what are the possible camera movements which can happen.
How many
and what kind of camera. We shot in one camera.
Okay.
because it's a one shot.
Right.
And it's a, it had to be one camera, it had to be one lens, it had to be one battery, and it had to be one card.
Okay.
Because there is no scope of changing anything while the take is on.
Okay.
So it was one of the camera vendors, which is one of the best in Bombay, Prime Focus. They came to our help and they provided us all the technical equipments needed to shoot the film. And we shot the film for 3 days. I think we have around 6 takes. So the final take, we found it to be almost like 97% okay. Because it had to be an okay take also for the film to go out.
All right.
So the final film, which is everybody is watching now, that is a 97% okay take for me.
So
The director says, okay, I understand, but yeah.
for you, still the 3% remains.
Yes. Audience will not be able to, probably get hold of it. But yeah, I feel no film is flawless in the world. There's some flaw with some film every point of time. It's a human thing. So. But yeah, I really enjoyed that journey of, a dedicated involvement of every day attending rehearsals at 6 o'clock in the morning, going down to the set and going down to the rehearsal space and then finally on the location with camera. It was a very good exercise.
Entire way you have done this, like 6 months of rehearsal time, has this been done before, other than just about the film being one of its kind? This kind of thing has done before ever?
With me, no.
No, but otherwise, is it been done
Otherwise,
in the industry?
I don't know about how much time people have invested in their rehearsals, but it depends. Such kind of film will need a rehearsal time, for everybody to come on sync. Because it is not just me moving with the camera. It is the director, it is the artist, it is the sound guy, location sound recordist. It is the entire unit. And at the same time, you'll have to have a unit which is little concise. You can't have a very big unit. It had to be a very chosen people who exactly knew what is going on in that 97 minutes. So it had to be very meticulous.
So Nomad is one film we should all look forward to taking a look at. It's there. Yeah. It's available on OTT.
It is available in YouTube right now.
YouTube.
It had released in most of the big cities in India. PVR had released it, but at the moment it is there in YouTube.
So very few people would know about this achievement as much, right? Because probably it wouldn't have been pushed and published so much.
But I guess the kind of effort which Hemant has put in, the director Hemant Tiwari, is put in now. A lot of people know about the film.
Achha. But for us, the common people, we need to understand this and probably look forward to seeing this. Because what went on to make this wonderful film?
All those people who have watched it, they felt that while watching, I never felt that it's a one shot going on. So there lies I feel from a cinematographer's perspective, I feel little happy inside.
So you shouldn't feel bad about the 3%. So you won the National Award for Cinematography for Obijatrik.
Yeah.
How was the journey and the film being a sequel to Opu trilogy? Did you feel any pressure and how did you approach the style of shooting?
So yeah, Obijatrik is the concluding part of the novel and it is a sequel to the Opu trilogy. The director and the film is shot across 70 locations in eastern part of India, including Benares, North Bengal, India-Bangladesh border, Calcutta, then all the possible connective places which Opu has in his life. And his journey is there, in the film. And it was to be shot in black and white. It was a decision made while scripting itself. Okay. Because it is part of the legacy, so it had to be in black and white, I felt. I also, I agreed to the director. And obviously, shoot-wise, it had to be very classical because it talks about 1940s Bengal. And that point of time, life was completely different than what we see in 2024. Life was all the more slow, all the more I mean, I believe or I feel it in that way that all the more peaceful for that matter. Because expectations were less, demands were less. So all these factors, somewhere down the line, the way Vibhuti has written the novel also, all these things had to come down in the level of execution.
Okay.
And the actor who has played the role of Apu, Arjun Chakravarti, I felt he is par excellence in kind of delivering such a character. Because Apu is a person who is embedded in Bengali audience's heart.
Achha.
So, and because it's a continuation of the Apu trilogy, so that emotion had to get carried forward from the last film, which is Apu Shamshad. So that I feel Arjun Chakravarti has played it brilliantly. And during the pre-production part, we have traveled so much to find out locations which is as old as 1940.
Okay.
Was one of the biggest challenge I felt.
So you wanted the
Because
specific
everything
look for it.
everything has developed so much. Getting the look of 1940, obviously there was
So there was no
involved.
set made. It was a realistic location which you were looking at.
Most of it is realistic location. Few, obviously, we had to build a set because initial 25 minutes of the film is there inside a railway carriage, inside a coupe.
Yeah.
So we had to build that the platform, the Howrah station platform where the train starts off, the journey starts off, and then there was another platform which is an old village platform, completely dilapidated and khali pada hai pura, koi nahi hai, and it's a moonlit night. The train comes, and that used to be a steam engine in those days. Very surreal. Few small pecks of clouds are there in the sky, which you get to see in moonlit night. So that kind of an atmosphere, along with the train, it was built in the set. Apart from that, we have hired few locations where 1942 set has been built up. I mean, in real location.
Okay.
In outdoor locations, to be precise. But otherwise, mostly it has been shot in real locations.
Did you expect the national award?
How
did it
kind
happen?
of see. It is not just about national award. It is about any kind of awards and rewards. I feel is a kind of byproduct. I mean, I always feel that whatever films I have been doing. So my first film, which was Shohaj Patel Goppo, it's Colors of Innocence. It's there in Hotstar and Amazon Prime. Colors of Innocence also won a national award. That was for the best child actor. Okay. Because it was a children's story. I mean, it was a children's film. So both the brothers, they performed so brilliantly that it came out to be a national award winning film. And everybody, I mean, I got my, in Calcutta, I got my first Filmfare nomination for that. And the entire Calcutta came to know about me through that film.
Okay.
So it's not just about Abhijatrik, it is not just about Shohaj Patel Goppo. I mean, all the films that I have been doing, my perspective always remains that whether I am able to give my 100% and I am being able to contribute towards a film with my heart full, Otherwise, it's of no use doing the film.
All right.
Because it is not something, a job in hand, it is something where you are putting in a lot of learnings, a lot of craft work, a lot of understanding into your frames. So from that perspective, all my films have that kind of involvement from my end. Now, whether it is going to win something or not, or it is just going to win people's heart, that is something which is we always obviously look forward to, but you cannot guarantee anything in that way, so it's no point like hoping too much about it. If it happens, good. If it doesn't happen, I
So
move
it
on.
just happened.
It happened. Yeah.
Lovely. And congratulations for that. I mean,
Right.
and we are happy to have you on the show listening to you. So, through your journey,
Yeah.
color or black and white, what is that you like now? How many black and white movies you've done now?
I have shot 3 black and white till now.
So, what do you like? Color, black and white?
So again, it is a matter of choice. If your script demands to be in black and white, I feel it should be made in black and white.
Okay.
Obviously, the director needs to be in sync with me for that matter, or I should be in sync with the director. It's the other way around also. And if the script demands to be in color, then obviously the film has to be in color. So it is a matter of how you are perceiving that particular content, that particular script. So it is about the crux of the script, whether it demands it or not. I love watching black and white. Probably black and white has got a certain added advantage because it brings out certain richness in kind of looks and everything. But obviously color is something which we are all living in. Right? Our natural world is a color world.
Right.
So from that perspective, your basic instincts in terms of visualization also happens in color.
Right.
So from that perspective, color is something which is naturally born in us.
Right.
When you visualize. But when you think of black and white, then you need to think it with a different spectacle. If this is happening in black and white, then how it is going to look. So shooting black and white in India is also another challenge.
Is it?
Because we don't have black and white cameras in India.
So there is a different camera for that?
Yes, there is a different camera for that, as in previously it used to be black and white stock when it used to be celluloid and colored stock. But now we have a digital camera which has got a color sensor. There are black and white censored cameras, but it is not available in India. So when you have to shoot something in black and white, you have to pre-visualize how it is going to look in black and white. So choice of colors becomes a big homework. What color background, what color wall, what color furniture, what color props, what color costume is there going to be in your frame is something we need to do a back calculation all the time in your mind when you are choosing to shoot a scene. So which is not coming to me on a very natural way. I have to do a homework behind it. Because if this particular green is going to come in black and white, so what percentage of green should it be? Or what percentage of red should it be to bring out a good look when it comes to black and white?
Okay. For people like us, we think black and white is done post production, where probably you change the filter.
Yeah, I mean it is done in post production.
Yeah. Okay.
It is done in post production when it comes to the color sensor cameras.
Okay.
So there are very few cameras which shoots actually in black and white, but till now India is struggling to get one.
Okay, so the one which we have seen are post productions when it's converted into black and white.
Converted into black and white. Yes.
Okay. You are a part of ISC. What does it mean? And
so again, I'm very fortunate to be part of this honorary.
So it's an honor. So how does it feel?
Obviously it feels great. I mean, you can't compare with these kind of happiness in life with anything else, because when you grow or when you start thinking of becoming a cinematographer, you look forward or I mean, we all have our idols of cinematographers whom we want to be. And it has always been that the people whom I have looked forward to or learned on a daily basis from their work, they have all been members of ISC. And the day I came to know that it is happening in my life, so obviously it was a matter of big happiness.
So what is the process when they kind of initiate you there? Is there a particular, they look at the work
you have done? It matters on the body of work that you have done.
The kind of work you've done. That's where they kind of...
Correct.
So coming to understanding there's a huge disparity when it comes to cinematographers. There's a whole men force which is behind that. There are very few women. Is there a particular reason for that? Or are they not?
I think time has changed a lot. I mean, now it is not like there are a lot of women cinematographers, and there is a body also which is there for women cinematographers, just like we have for WICA. There is one.
What does WSA stand for?
Western India Cinematographers Association.
Okay.
Then there is one which is for Women Cinematographers Association also.
Okay, there's a body for that.
Yes, there is a body for that, and there are a lot of women cinematographers nowadays who are doing brilliant work.
So the girls are looking forward to get into this scope of work also, right?
Yes, of course. In film school, if you go in a cinematography class, you will always find at least 2, 3, 4, maybe at times 5 students who wants to be a cinematographer.
The profession which you chose.
It's basically, I feel it is about your perspective. Whether you want to go ahead with a cinematographer who is a man or a woman. It is an individual perspective. But I feel there shouldn't be this kind of differences at all.
No, it's the outside world somewhere has a thought. I mean, think that way, that it's probably wise that so karke. Because empowerment is the...
Yeah, actually.
People look for that.
Absolutely.
So, being in this field, who are your inspiration? What made you? You might have had some kind of a mentor or some kind of thought process when you were progressing. You had any inspirations when you started?
So, I kind of, when I started doing photography, late Pranab Basu, he is no more with me nowadays, I mean, at the moment. Pranab Basu had been a very instrumental figure in terms of being my photography mentor back in Calcutta. He's one of the he was one of the great black and white photographer for low light theatre photography.
Okay.
So
that's a different art.
It's a different expertise, I believe.
Yeah.
When you have low light and when you are shooting black and white and you are shooting, there is movement happening on the stage when the characters are moving from this part of this side of the stage to the other side of the stage. In that, it really is a big challenge for a photographer to get a perfect shot. So Pranab Basu is one of the master photographers, I believe, who was there in Calcutta. So he has been an instrumental figure. Then actually I have been very lucky to come across few people in my life who has really cared for me and being affectionate towards me in teaching or believing in the fact that the kind of work that I want to do. Bharat Nirkar and Dhanam Gulati both have been in FTI when I was there studying in Pune. Their workshops, their skill sets, their expertise have helped me a lot in terms of understanding cinematography. And if you say the cinematographers who are working in present day, who are my seniors from the institute and who are doing brilliant job in their projects, in the films that they are shooting, undoubtedly they are Sudip Chatterjee and Amit Mukherjee. Both are Bengalis and both have been doing for decades after decades. They have been shooting, superb films which I like. I'm the first one to go and watch, kind of. Yeah.
So if Supratim wouldn't have been if he's not a cinematographer, what would he have become?
I don't know.
So you can't think beyond this.
I don't think I can. Standing at this stage, though I come from a family where my brothers in my generation, probably somebody is from IIT, somebody is from ISI, somebody is from Delhi School of Economics, somebody is from education background. Me coming to the film background, filmmaking, being a cinematographer, was a process which happened through a period of time. Okay. It was not just a one-day call. and it has been continuing since then.
So
So I don't know what I would have done if I wouldn't have.
you have made your family proud now, as you said. Earlier you said black sheep.
I feel yes. I mean, I always feel that my parents, they are at least happy today that. I mean, I feel I have a lot of gratitude for them. They agreed to the fact that I have come to this profession, and for their end, at least they are happy till now that my father always used to think that every year national award news used to come out in the newspaper, and he used to think when are you going to get?
Actually,
I said I don't know when I'm going to get. I'm just trying every year. So if it happens, it will happen.
Wow.
So yeah.
So this is a skill set which is developed, as you said. It takes some kind of a personality to do that. You need to be looking forward to it. And you look at this country which is going to go on to skill, because AI coming and all that. Skill is important for something. So you have to keep yourself updated with the technology, the lighting, the camera. So for all those who are listening to us, what do you think is the kind of things we have to keep improving on? What is the kind of skill set? As you said, you need to have experience of life also to bring on this aspect of being a cinematographer. What is the kind of cue you would give them? Like, okay, this is the things we should follow. Let's do this. Let's do that for the next generation.
I always feel that you should keep your mind open. A person should keep all aspects of life open to know more and to learn more on a daily basis. Okay. I used to be, in terms of advice, if you say, I would say that, read a lot of books.
On what?
On any subject which makes you, which attracts you.
Which has to
whether
have
it is a storybook, whether it is a storybook, or it is a news, or it is a novel, or it is any kind of fiction.
So your imagination should be different than many people, isn't it? When you are into this art.
I feel every cinematographer's imagination will be different when it comes to, with one particular script, 10 different DOPs, 10 different cinematographers will come up with 10 different sensibilities, with their sensibilities,
right.
10 different kind of visuals. So it is always a thing which is psychologically driven. Your upbringing, your understanding of life, your way of looking something, we all are unique.
Right.
So from that perspective, it will be a unique vision when it comes to different cinematographers on a single giving their take on a single script. So I always feel, nowadays we have stopped studying. We are watching a lot of things, we are hearing a lot of things, we are scrolling a lot of things, we are making a lot of things, but when it comes to studying a lot of books, a child who reads is a child who thinks. So I feel reading a lot of books gives you a lot of insights of life.
Right, I agree to that
completely. So whether it's a storybook, whether it's a spiritual book, whether it's a newspaper, or it's a short story, or it's a novel, be it whatever, take up any book and start studying. The moment you start studying, you start visualizing.
That's a personal visualization, right? But what I mean to say is, like when you're reading a book, you don't have an image which is already preset or sent by someone.
Correct. It's something very private.
Yes.
It's a very personal thinking which is going on in your mind when you're reading it.
Right.
So when that becomes a practice, then I believe relating to another story when you are reading a script with another director, that becomes a little more easier for you to get a grasp on. Grasp on the kind of visuals that you want to portray.
So what is the most invaluable thing an artist has? We call you an artist, so what is the thing which you have, like any cinematographer has, which is different? One is the imagination part.
I think it's a loving heart which you need to, embrace your entire life. Cinematography is just one aspect. I believe in becoming a better human being every day. I believe in taking better decisions You know, what I used to take in terms of my life, and be it on any job role for that matter. I tend to, or I try to grow it with, take that call with more wisdom, more courage, and more compassion.
I would agree with you completely, because love is the way to many things in life.
Correct.
And it makes you a better human. Your perspective changes. A lot of things get added to your life.
Correct.
The energies of the universe also start supporting on this.
Correct.
When it comes to the larger aspect of filmmaking, which is so many PVRs are shutting down today. So is it that good films are not being made, or what is it? What is that there are 1500 PVR, the cinema theaters which are shutting down, it's said now. So what is that? Is that a case of a good film not being made, or people are too much attached to the smartphone?
I think smartphone is definitely one aspect where cinema, which is in true sense, which we love watching it in a theater, the experience of watching a theater is lacking nowadays. Because people are thinking that, you know, I have a mobile and I can spend some time with that device for the next 2-3 hours rather than going to a cinema hall, is something which is not probably I enjoy. I want to see always, I mean, any kind of film that I want to watch, I never wait for that film to come on OTT. I make it a point that I go to a theater and watch.
How can that be done with other people also? How can we get people back to the theater? See it on the big screen.
I can't suggest
You don't have a say on that.
You can do it, but yeah, of course. I mean, if it is done from at least people who are into the making world, who are actually making it in terms of from that perspective,
they have to strive hard.
Try hard from the maker's end to bring. Obviously, there is a cost involved, there is a commercial involved, there is other business modules involved along with a cinema nowadays. But the moment it comes to a cinema, I believe it always needs to be watched in theater, because it is meant for theater.
Okay. This is one last word for the people who want to get into the field of what you do. One word, one quick word.
I think it is very important to have faith in the kind of work that we all believe in to do. You know, if I have taken a call one day that I want to be a cinematographer, and I have taken the decision with certain amount of faith in myself, and that can only grow, that can only get more matured with time, with that same faith which is there in me. So it's the 5-letter word faith, which is the most important thing, which can take a person from 0 to 10. And I believe when I was leaving school, my rector had written the same lines in my diary that Supratim, never stop having faith in yourself, and you will never know the meaning of failure. So faith is a very key word, be it any kind of things that we want to take up in life and be successful in.
It worked for you, it will work for others also.
Absolutely.
And that's the key word.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Supratim. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you for giving us time and being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.